If you're a chicken farmer, then you're technically a chicken tender. If you tend to chickens at a farm, then you're a chicken tender. No. You can't stop me. What's the meaning of life? What is the meaning of life? That's a good meaning. Yes. What? Hi.
You have to say your name first.
I gotta say my name first?
Yeah. Just look at it.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. You already know? I know. Thank you. I'm good? I'm good, all right. All right. Oh, you get changed now. My name is Preston Cook. Being a single parent is not a life full of struggles, but a journey for the strong. I'm here today to help you understand and to empower kids in a single parent household, get them off the streets and out of trouble, and give them something to do when their parent is working all the time and can't always be there to give them all the time that they deserve. I'm interested in this project because I too am raised by a single mom, and I rarely see my mom every day, and I be getting bored and in trouble, but with sports and after school activities helps me relieve stress and stay out of trouble. The big question that I want you to find an answer to by the end of my talk is how being in a single parent household affects kids and how to substitute not having one of your parents with one of these ways. But first, I'm gonna give you a little background knowledge. Oh shit, no, all right. How many single parent households are in America? According to LifeScienceNews.com, about 1/3 of American children, also known as 15 million, live without their fathers, and another 5 million live without their mothers at home. This is crazy because even as the total number of American households with children increased by 160,000, the number of two-parent households decreased by 1.2 million. That's hard to even imagine because we are evolving as a people but moving backwards at the same time and can't even give our children a fair run at life. This to me is the cause of poverty, drugs, or teenage pregnancy. I feel this way because a lot of fathers in America who come from a poor background, when they find out they need to get money fast to support their kids, they rush towards drugs or crimes because they feel like that's the only way to be able to afford other necessities. But it's not the only way. And before it's too late, they're either dead or in jail and can't support their child, and the kid ends up being with only one parent to support them. And since they only have that one parent probably won't be able to see them often, and because of that, oh shit, my fault, I messed up. All right. Number 2, how does it feel to be in a single parent household? All right. For starters, it's kind of lonely. And you may ask yourselves, how come if you still have that one parent with you? Well, imagine this. Imagine you wake up in the morning, get ready for school, you walk to school, and then after school you come home, do your homework, eat, take a shower, and go to sleep. Now you're probably looking at me crazy like, what the fuck was the point of you telling me that? Well, it's because it's missing something. And that something is that one parent. Imagine waking up to no warm welcome, no good morning, son, no love, you have a good day. Then come home from a long day of school to know how was your day, or I miss you, or just being there for you. And probably the only time you get to socialize is at school. I consider myself lucky because I have lots of friends who love and support me, but imagine that one kid who doesn't. That one kid who gets bullied all the time. That one kid who has really rough days at school. And when they come home, they feel isolated, alone, with no one to help guide them. But let's just say this isn't every day. Where you get to see them sometimes, and the days that you actually see them is when they're always cranky and complains all the time and spreads more and more negativity back in your life. And it's not because they hate you, it's because they're tired all the time from work, paying bills, and etc. And you only see the worst of them. That's why people with one parent usually end up not being that close to that parent. And it's not their fault, it's just how it is, and it sucks. Because you might love them to death, but it's hard to reconnect that bond. You might be thinking to yourself now, I never thought of it that way. And you're right, a lot of people don't think of it like that way. And they take it for granted, but kids like us, we never do. We dreamed as a kid, and maybe to this day, of having 2 parents in our life and be happy like the families we see on TV. But deep down in our hearts, we know that would never happen. Next one. I'm going to read off just a couple of the effects. Decrease in income, schedule changes, less quality time, lack of motivation, negative feelings, sense of loss, relationship difficulties, problem accepting new relationships. Next one. In conclusion, being in a single parent household may be hard, but it's not an excuse to not give your kid the best life that they can have. And to all you kids out there with one parent, I just wanted to say I feel your pain, and I'm rooting for you. Thank you.
Whoever's next, can you please come up? Sebastian, if you're around, can you please come here? Do you want to zoom in now? If you're up after him, please come up right now.
Right, so we go right?
Yeah. Do you want the stand?
Go what?
The mic stand?
No. Hold on. Hello. Why, hello. Hi. Beatboxing. The weird noises that comes out of people's mouth when they make a beat, such as Dougie Fresh. He was human beatboxer. He was an American rapper born in 1966. He was an amazing person. He helped hip hop come into this reality of just not just making beats with instruments, but with beats with the mouth, the vocal cords, clicks. Huh? Mm-hmm. Such as the scratch, which is just inhaling from the crack between the fingers, such as boots and cats. Boots and cats is just saying, and just going off of that could go off to a next beat and just help. I don't know how to say this, but like, just from starting off a new beat, going off to another one, it can help a lot, and it's just from starter beatboxers, amateurs, such as myself, because I'm not the best I am, but I like to try, at least. Such as... Shut up, that's the one. And what I like to see from beatboxing now is the future. Now, one of the most popular beatboxers right now is Tom Thumb. Tom Thumb is this pro beatboxer that is really inspirational for me. He had a TED Talk also on beatboxing, and he made a trumpet noise with his vocal cords, and it just inspired me to do it, but then I'm still learning how to do it, and I can't grab the momentum like how he did. So what I like to do in my own spare time, I like to beatbox. I like to create up noises with my mouth. When I was in elementary, I used to do all these noises, and it used to help me because I was always depressed, alone. I didn't have no friends. But until middle school came, I had a lot of friends. And they kind of helped me with some noises also. One of my friends, Matthew, he helped me with the sound, which is really weird. It was... He helped me with that, and it just evolved to making noises with it, such as... And it just came along with me, and it stayed as one of my noises. And what I like to do is add different elements to beatbox, such as fire, right? Even though I'm still an amateur, I still know a few thank you. Yeah, even though I'm still an amateur, I still know a few beats that could still element to a cool beatbox. Thank you.
Who do we have up next?
Hi. Oh, wait.
No.
Yeah. Oh, that's loud. Okay.
Don't. Just the first name.
Hey, it's Danielle. Coming on up. Do you want to talk?
Talk about it, guys. Hello. speak that loud because that shit was loud. Oh, let me not pass out. Okay. This is to go right. Which one? Right is to go right. Do you need this? Yeah. Do you just... No, I just, okay. Okay. So can I get a show of hands of like anybody that's been to an amusement park or like, okay. And you guys have ever been to like the parks that have like the animals, the dolphins? Okay, so these are like really pretty animals. And, shit, I can't do this. They're really amazing animals, but what if I were to tell you that these animals are being brutally beaten and killed every day and we don't know anything about it? I'm so nervous. Okay. So first, let me start off by saying that these animals are intelligent and they have really extraordinary senses. Let me not do too much. So one thing about them is that their brains are larger than ours, and that they can hear better than us. So this is a big thing that plays a role. Whoa. My bad. I don't know how I did that. This is not for me. Okay. Let me just use these note cards. So dolphins have demonstrated language comprehension through gestures. And they also pass down their methods to other dolphins. So dolphins hear tones at greater sensitivities than us, and this plays a very large role in how they are tricked into being captured and slaughtered. So basically what they would do is they're going to line up their boats, and then they're going to lower poles into the water and bang pipes onto the poles to create like a sound wave underwater. And that this kind of tricks the dolphin into thinking that they're towards shore, so they swim the other direction, which traps them because the other direction, where shore really is, has nets where the dolphins will then swim over, and the people will lift the nets up, and that will be it. So these dolphins are left sometimes overnight to be processed, or they are slaughtered the same day. So one might ask, why doesn't the dolphin just jump over the net? And the thing is that dolphins see in 3D, so they're not going to know that, oh, that's a net, because they're unfamiliar with that. The only things they are familiar with is the shore and the ocean surface. Their natural behavior isn't to jump through a hoop or jump over a net, so they would not know how to do this. So when you see a dolphin at a dolphin show doing tricks, this is all taught. And the way they are taught is that they are starved their food in order to be manipulated into doing the tricks for them. And then when they have finished doing the tricks, they are rewarded with a dead fish. And one thing about dolphins is they like to catch their fish alive. They like to do that themselves. So this is definitely a huge disadvantage to them. Okay, why did I keep happening? Okay, so one person might ask, why does anyone want to harm these animals? And the really main thing is because of the profit that someone can make off of a dolphin. Dolphin meat sells for less profit than if you were to sell it to one of the captivity industries. So, therefore, the captivity industries are basically the one that drives the slaughters, and yeah. Why do I keep doing that? Okay. So how we can attack this issue, I think one way we can attack this issue is by not buying tickets to the show, because buying tickets to the show is saying that we're supporting this, and we are the ones that are driving them to continue to keep capturing and keep slaughtering these animals. But I do understand that we will lose profit, but there are other ways to gain profit by doing like fundraisers, bringing awareness to this issue, and then also, just doing little projects here and there, selling merchandise. Also, I feel like if we do this and we support this issue, this will show the true definition of a park and what animals are really about and how we really treat our animals. Okay. So why you should care. So people that abuse animals are most likely to abuse humans. And so this is a major thing because they lack the empathy and sympathy that a normal person would have to living things. And so if we allow others to abuse animals or living things or other people, we're basically saying that it's okay. And this is basically setting up our society for failure. So correcting this is a major thing because kids watching this in their homes or watching their parents, abuse things, they're going to grow up and do that to their kids, to other people. And also, kids that see this or experience this tend to, they tend to commit more violent acts. So I feel like if you guys care about our future and our society, that you guys should try to make a difference, spread awareness, and don't support these shows. So thank you, I appreciate you guys. I'm so sorry, and thanks.
Hey, what up? It's my boy Walter, Walty Walt. You guys want to hear a joke? Okay, so a bear walks into a bar and he's like, "Can I have a whiskey and a cola?" And then the bartender's like, why the big pause? And then he's like, "'Cause I was born with them." Ruby left.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Okay, so what did the casket say to the sick casket? Is that you coughing? Yeah? That's a knee slapper, right?
So how does this work?
Next up, we have Walter.
Right here, good? What's up, y'all? Today I'm gonna talk about the lost art of cooking. I consider cooking a lost art because as millennials, we have social media right at our fingertips, and I assume all y'all have social media, right? Yeah, Snapchat, Instagram, all that. And I see a lot of people, they like to post food stuff. Like they go out to different restaurants and they post their food stuff on social media. But I guarantee y'all that 90% of them don't know how to cook at home. That's just one example. I'm not saying not learning how to cook and eating out at a restaurant is bad or anything, but learning to cook is way better. And the first reason is financial. As seniors, we're all going to college next year, or I'm assuming you are. And college is expensive. I mean, look at that. That's just for 1 year, too. The UC's part is cut off, but it's $35,000 a year. And I'm gonna break it down to you for how college works. So for college, for 2 years, for freshman and sophomore, you get a meal plan
because you get provided it. Because if you live in a dorm, but once you go out in an apartment, when they kick you out as juniors and seniors, you only have two options really. It's either eat out or take out or learn how to cook. And learning how to cook saves you a lot more money. So when you're paying those college debts 10 years after college still, you have little more money. Because cooking at home, if you know how to buy groceries, it's only like $2 to $4. But on average, eating out or takeout is $5 to $11. The second aspect is time. Cooking doesn't really take a lot of time if you think about it. Prepping, I guess, takes a lot of time. It's like 15 minutes to even an hour. And then cooking, yeah, I guess. But during cooking, you can multitask, like be on your phone, do something productive. You don't have to stand at the stove all the time. And really, eating out or carry out is the same thing. It takes the same amount of time. Because for a takeout, you still have to drive there and then drive back to your house and then eat your food. That takes minimum 15 minutes. My bad. And then if you eat at a restaurant, you have to wait 30 minutes minimum or something, 15, 30 minutes just to get your food. So it's basically the same time period. So really, cooking at home doesn't take a lot of time if you think about it. The third aspect is tradition. Since a lot of us come from immigrant families, food is the really big factor of bringing your family together because, we all have school, life, but the one time we can all really get together is at the dinner table, eating our food. And I think that's a really special moment that we shouldn't take for granted. And I believe holding on to tradition as a first-generation immigrant is really special to me. And one thing I like to put is, once your parents are gone and nobody else can really cook for you, like, what do you really have left? You can still have some tradition left instead of being totally Americanized by cooking traditional food. An example is, I don't want to call anyone out, but you know how white Americans, they're pretty much lost all their European culture? Don't be like them. Learn how to cook and save some tradition, at least. And that's all. Thank you.
Up next,
Walter with the cooking. Walter and his cooking and stuff, right? Go Walt. Who's next?
No, I'm not with DMs. What am I supposed to say? Hello. Hello.
Please be respectful.
Okay. Have you ever thought how life is like in prison? How life is for those that have been behind bars for decades and the challenges they have to face when they're finally outside? A lot of people are arrested because they committed a crime, but also a lot of people are arrested without having committed a crime. And they have to face the bad conditions that are in jail. A friend of mine, Christopher, was in prison for 13 years, and he told me that his cell was always freezing. Why the government doesn't make prisons better places if some prisoners are going to spend a lot of years in there? That is a problem that is worldwide. Another problem is the death penalty. 57 countries around the world still have the death penalty, and the United States is one of them. And some methods of executions that are still used are hanging, shooting, stoning. 9 countries of the Middle East still use it. Beheading, only 4 countries still use it. Electrocution, and lethal injection. In the United States are 31 states that still have the death penalty, and California is one of them. And lethal injection is the primary method of execution in our country. California has spent $4 billion on these injections. And government makes us think that the prisoner doesn't feel any pain, but the truth is that the prisoner feels a lot of pain, and the execution can last up to 45 minutes. And we even think that there are not that many of executions in our country, but 4 already happened, and 22 are about to happen this 2018. And the list continues for 2019, 2020, and 2021. But why do prisoners get the death penalty? In our country, the main reasons why death penalty is given are murder and espionage. And why when someone kills another person, we see it like something bad, but when the government does it, we see it like something good? I think that we should be against the death penalty, and we should do something for those that are in prison, at least to accept them in our community, and not to see all of them as dangerous people. Thank you.
My name is Sherman, and I'm going to be talking about renewable energy. We good, Juan? Good? Okay. Renewable energy. Energy that is collected by resources that are naturally... Good? Okay. Renewable energy. Energy that is collected by resources that are naturally replenished, which many of you know as wind, water, and solar power. You guys see them every day from the wind turbine spinning to the dams with flowing water and the solar panels absorbing power from the sun. When some of you see them, you question to yourself, is it really necessary? Well, today I'm going to tell you the advantages and disadvantages of renewable energy. When fossil fuels are burned to create energy, carbon dioxide and other harmful gases are emitted into the atmosphere. As more and more carbon dioxide is released, it causes global warming. With renewable energy, there are low or zero carbon emissions, which means that it helps with the conservation of the environment. Another advantage is that because they are renewable, they can provide a sustainable supply of energy in the long run. This is because the sun will not stop shining, nor will the wind stop blowing, and the trees cut down can be regrown. As a result of this never-ending source of energy comes the creation of new jobs. There will be people doing the labor by building and maintaining renewable equipment, people creating new technology to make renewable energy more efficient, and people marketing the new technology. In a study by the Union of Concerned Scientists in 2016, more than 260,000 people in the solar industry and 66,000 people in the hydroelectric industry were employed. These are all great reasons to invest in renewable energy, but there are also disadvantages as well. As renewable energy relies on the weather for its source of power, the reliability of energy is not consistent. For example, solar panels need clear skies and sunshine, wind turbines need wind to turn the blades, and hydro generators need rain to fill dams to have flowing water. Another disadvantage is the current cost of the technology needed to make renewable energy. The average cost of solar panels for homeowners in 2018 is $18,000, and just one wind turbine, $48,000 to $65,000. Many people don't have that much money at hand or would rather use it to buy a new car, pay off college tuition, or even just save it. With the technology of renewable energy being relatively new, they are not as efficient and mainstream as burning fossil fuels. In a pie chart by the US Department of Energy, in 2016, only 10% of the total energy was created by renewable sources. On the other hand, 81% of the total energy was created by burning fossil fuels. In conclusion, investing in alternative energy is a good idea if you want to help with the conservation of the environment and create more jobs, knowing that these jobs are here to stay. You can also play it safe and decide not to invest, as the cost is massive and there is an uncertainty if there will be consistent energy for there to be used every day. Now that I've told you all you need to know, what is your choice? Thank you.
Up next. We have 5 minutes, just an FYI.
So my name is Jonathan Kolb, and I'm going to be talking about how math is the hidden secret to understanding the world. So grids are used to explain and visualize representations in different perspectives. So this would include like a TV and computer screen, and they are known best to be in 4x3 rectangular format. And using different math equations would equal and have easier access to find different patterns. So some alternatives would include 800 by 600 TV and computer screens, and the same scenario would be the 1600 by 1200 TV and computer screens. And making assumptions are some easy indicators that creative languages could become a reality. Also, they could be easy to graph many types of lines, so this would include straight, horizontal, vertical, curvy, and diagonal. And math could easily be used by any location with simple equations and formulas. And several types of math are easily ranked from basic to highly advanced classes at any school. So as you know, that many students would start learning basic math at any elementary school. But as you know, not everyone would learn math at the same pace because they have difficulty of learning any type of equation or how to graph any type of line. And one nice way to be used as a metaphor is have a mind like water. And when people want to study math and computer science, they are known to be the most imaginative art forms ever. And we're the ones who change perspectives on a daily basis by showing great empathy. And people who try to study math make their minds more flexible and will be able to open and understand new things. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to do one more, or do you want to just... I'm so sorry. I thought I clicked present. Oh.
Before Mr. Furley. What? Oh, it's on. What's up, Hector?
Wait a minute. Next up, we have Julia. Do you want them?
A quote by Louisa May Alcott. I'm not afraid of storms, for I'm learning how to sail my ship. In life, we experience many things that we don't understand. In that sense, it can lead to fear of life. Fear in not knowing, fear in the infinite possibilities of the future. Many people experience it, but not all know how to deal with it. It can lead to many mental illnesses like depression or anxiety. But I'm not here to talk about depression or anxiety. I'm here to talk about that it is okay to be scared, because it happens to everyone, including me. But it should not stop you from living your life to the fullest. So to start with, what is fear? Fear is defined as a feeling or an emotional response that is induced by perceived threat. It can lead us to hide or to run away from whatever we are afraid of. So, when I was younger, my brothers used to force me to watch scary movies, and it resulted in me having an irrational fear of the dark. Every night, I always made someone sleep with me, and if it was too dark to go outside, I would not come out unless someone turns on the light or someone was with me. However, I got so tired of being scared because I wasn't able to do things I needed and wanted to do. I told myself, if the ghosts are gonna get me, then whatever. After that, I slowly but surely, I was able to overcome it. We don't know what life holds for each individual, yet we still choose to live it. For example, in the years 1929 to 1939, the Great Depression had occurred. Many people were devastated. Some had no food, no homes, and some couldn't even afford clothes. Throughout those years, many people feared for their families, if they were even going to live. However, using that fear, many people persevered to get a job in order for their families to survive. Some lived their lives with no fear, while some lived full of it. And that's okay. Today, I will be talking about ways you can deal with fear in your life. Let me start off with saying that you can learn to go through fear just like how you can learn how to ride a bike. At first, it's challenging. But with time and practice, it will get easier. The times when you feel most scared is when something important and defining is about to happen. When people are scared, they tend to run away or avoid the situation that they are in because it's something that they don't want to deal with. It makes an individual feel weak and vulnerable. Fear is your opportunity to do something brave. Every day in our lives, we do courageous things. For example, this TED Talk that everyone is doing right now. I know that the majority of the people in this room don't even want to do it because it involves public speaking. Yet, we still do it because it impacts our grade. This shows that everyone needs to motivate themselves or some other type of motivation in order to get through it. Talk with somebody. It honestly does not hurt to tell someone how you feel. Talk to someone who you truly trust because it will give you a different perspective in the situation you are in. Someone outside of the situation will be able to be more objective about what's going on and might have solutions you haven't thought of. It will feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. Be aware. Be aware of what you're feeling and don't avoid it. It is okay to feel what you feel because you are a human being. You have every right to feel that way. If you run away, you won't be able to find a solution for your problem. It will persist till it gets worse. Know that you are not your fear. You are the awareness that experiences it. Thank you.
It's lunch now. You guys can leave.